Hi everybody, my name is Jan Dufour and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live just outside of Louisville, Kentucky. We're continuing with our page maps if you've been, or card maps if you've been following along. You can always catch up by going back and looking at them, but right now we're doing card map 8 and 9. So that's this one and this one. This one, I had to work for it. Now that I have the measurements and all of the cuts, it's really easy, and I'm going to show you that. This also doesn't take very much time. You just have to glue each one, and that's the only thing that takes a little bit of time. But it's very easy because they're just 1/2-inch strips. If you're following me on YouTube and you want the project sheets, which look like this, you can go over to my blog at stampmesilly.com. And my blog, my project sheets will be there. I have some freebies there. And of course the video will also be there, but you'll be watching me on YouTube. If you have any questions, you can contact me at jandufour@yahoo.com. If you want to purchase anything, you can go to jandufour.stampinup.net. All right, let me put this away. And I'll put this one to the side. This is the one we're going to be working on. The hardest part was trying to figure out how I was going to get all of this centered. And then I figured it out. I'll put the card aside and the sentiment aside. And what I figured out was it's easier if I use this to glue each row on. And that way I didn't have to worry about centering them top to bottom. So when you cut this piece, let's see, it is 3 3/4 by 1 5/8. And then you also cut the Titan strips at 4 7/8 by 1 5/8. And then you begin to cut them down. So this is what you're using to cut down. And you're cutting them out at every 1 1/4 inch. So I will put it here. And you need to end up with 9 of them. And 1 1/4. And 1 1/4. All right, and there's a little piece left. I don't know why I measured it that way. I think that was just the piece that I had left over. It all works. All right, so the first row, I liked the dark on the outside. Depending on what paper you're using, you may decide to start the other way. It doesn't matter, because all we're doing is using the flip side for that. And then of course you're going to go the opposite way. And do I not have enough pieces? I am short one. Okay. Well, let me just get another piece. This is not going to fit. I do not think this is wide enough. Oh, wait a minute. There's another piece. I was hiding it from myself. I thought I had enough. All right. So this is essentially how it looks when you start. Again, the measurements will all be on the page, and it doesn't matter which one you do first. You're just going to be putting on a little bit of glue and using this to line it up. And then you can just lay this whole strip down without pieces wiggling, etc., which can make it be a little bit difficult. Kind of just butt it up against that and lay it down. Again, I'm just butting it up. And apparently I didn't cut these right either. This is 1 3/4. What did I tell you to cut it as? Or 3 3/4. I did tell you to cut it 3 3/4. This just isn't 3 3/4. So we will make it 3 3/4. There we go. There's the first one. We'll do this one next, and we're going to do it opposite of that last row. are sticky. You do want to cover up all of the white beneath it. Now, that wouldn't show on this piece so much, but it would definitely show up on darker colors. You could also always use the color of the cardstock that you have underneath it, or a majority cardstock color, so that if there is anything peeking out, it will kind of blend in a little bit better than being a stark difference. Putting up against that. Yeah, see, this one was cut correctly, so there you go. I had a stray piece of scrap. All right, so this is what we got so far. We got one more row to do. And like I said, this is not hard at all. Figuring it out took a little bit of finagling, and it involves 7/8 and 5/8 a couple of times, I think. 5/8, yeah, and 4 7/8 it does, but maybe I should show you what that looks like on the, for those that are not comfortable using all the lines on our paper trimmer, or whatever paper trimmer you're using. And here's the last piece on this. There we go. I'll let those sit a minute while I, whoops. Oh, I had another piece too, there. I thought I had enough. Okay, well, that's gonna go like that eventually. I'm gonna go ahead and get it on the paper, and then I can put something on it that's heavy. I'll move these aside for a minute. And then I can show you the paper trimmer measurements, maybe a little bit easier. Okay, so we wanted the dark ones on the outer corners. So I'm gonna go ahead, and because it is thick, it's a foil cardstock, I'm gonna use a fair amount of glue on it. And I'm just basically doing the standard edge. I'll do this one next. It's kind of curling. The glue on each piece makes it do that, but the way you get rid of that, again, I'm just kind of butting these up against them and centering them so that they are in line. This one is a little bit off. I did not measure myself very good. I did the first time, but I think the second time it was a little bit lax. Yep. Now I gotta cut the white cardstock underneath. All right, see how you can fix your mistakes? Before I glue this one down, I'm gonna check and see if I got this one cut. So that one white piece of cardstock that I originally had, that was not quite right. That's right on that side. A little bit long on this side too. I will verify the measurements before I put it up there, because I was quite certain that they were correct, but they're a little bit long. So I will check it before I post it. And then I'm going to put this aside and give you a little lesson on how to read different rulers and trimmers. All right, so I'm just going to flatten that. This is the only thing I use this big thing for. It's made for backgrounds, background stamps. I'm just going to set it over here so I can bring out my trimmer and show you a few things on it. And it doesn't matter if you, I love the Stamin Up trimmer, but if you don't have the trimmer, this particular trimmer, I would venture to say at least like the Fiskars one is the same. Might have a different order, but essentially, generally, when you get to the first marker, that's 1 inch. I think, oops, it would be better if I showed you here, 1 inch. So half of this is 1.5, and you'll notice that that line is a little bit longer than these two lines, which are the 1/4 inch. In between each 1/4 inch, there's going to be 3 lines. Those are 1/8 of an inch. So if I wanted 1, or if I wanted 5/8, this is, you can count them as 8ths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. So it's going to be in between 1/2 and 3/4. Rulers are the same way. You'll see that marked. Some measurements, or some of the rulers and things that you can look at, this is actually divided into 16ths. So if you count every single one, it'll be a 16th. So if I wanted 15 16ths, I would go to one line before the 1, because I would count 15 of them, and it would be this one. Some rulers have a division to 32nds. There aren't any of those on the Stampin' Up! One. We don't play with 32nd of an inch very well. We don't like that. All right, so here we go. We got this finished up. And then, it's sitting nice and pretty now. Then I stamped, not on that piece. Holy cow, I think what I did was, oh yeah, here it is. I dropped my project sheets, and they got mixed up, I think. Okay, so here's the sentiment. Thinking of you, which is not that one. Thinking of you today. And I used copper clay. This is a foil, and it doesn't really have a true color, I don't think. It didn't call it copper, or it didn't call it copper clay foil. It just said foil. So I'm going to put that in the center without sticking my head too far into that. We'll close this up. And then we're going to do those flags again. By the time you're done with my card maps, you're going to know how to do this real well. So I guesstimate the center, which is about there, and how far up I want to do it. Now you could put a dot there to see it more easily. I just bend this out of the way. I put my scissors in the corner here, and I cut to that mark. And then the second time it's easier, because you don't have to worry about finding that piece. It's right there. We'll do this side. It's about this much. And there. Stuck, but that's okay. There we go. Get those out of the way. And then I did put this up on some dimensionals. I'm at the very end of my dimensionals on this piece, but I use it all up because it's good. They work. And then I will throw this away. This will be the last piece that I take off. There's a few more on there, but I'm not that desperate. All right, take this off. Makes them a little more fun to take off because they've got weird shapes. Here's one. That one, and that one, and that one. All right, get that out of the way. I'm gonna have a mess to clean up, that's all right. And then I just centered the flag piece on the line, tried to. There we go. Because that should be straight. And then I want it over a little bit more. There we go. So I centered it this way. So again, this card was not hard at all once you know what sizes these are supposed to be. And I did figure those out for you. The measurements are going to be here, card number 8. Here are the sections you have to cut. So there's that card. Now the next one wasn't hard to figure out at all. This is the card that I made. I used a combination of leftovers. These were literal leftovers that I had. But what you want to do, if you have to actually cut them yourself, is you want the 10 strips to be 3 3/4. Let me see. 3. So this piece is 3 3/4. This piece is not quite, but I don't want to waste this piece of paper. It's the last of all of the stuff that we did. So even though it's not quite long enough, I'm going to go ahead and use it. I'll cut this way so I can butt them up. And when I'm cutting less than an inch, I usually cut to this side. And the reason for that is this gives me a longer area to be steady over than this does. So we're going to do 1/2 inch cuts. This is a good way to get your trimmer to get all of those little pieces of fuzz stuck in there. The smaller that you cut, the more you have fuzz in the channel where you cut. So be aware that doing this can sometimes cause it to be a little bit fuzzy. And then you have to clean it out. You can follow the tips on my last video. 2, 4, 6. This is 8. And this will make it 10. There's an extra one there if I want it. Oops. I'll put the cutter away, and then this is really easy. Again, the strips were easy, but laying these down, I want to make sure the card's opening correctly. Again, I like to start with a dark color on the top. I don't know, that's just me. I'm sure there is not an artistic value to it, just something I like. And I mixed on that other card. I'll bring it back for you to see in a minute. Again, when we are figuring out where it goes, we've got our normal borders. This piece was a little bit shorter, but I'm going to center it for that first piece. I only used one side of that. I thought it kind of gave a little bit of interest. I think this time I'm going to go ahead and put more than just that. We'll see what that does. That's another nice thing. A lot of people keep their stripes, their strips, if it's a 1/2 inch or bigger, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch or an inch, and just set them aside. This is a common technique. I'm going to do the other side to put stripes on there, whether you're using diagonal strips. Let's do this. You know, sometimes you line them all up and do it this way and then cut off the edges. However you want to do it. Strips can come in very handy. I used to do more of the keeping of the strips, but it kind of doesn't fit into my arrangement of supplies. So I do keep, usually if it's an inch, I will definitely keep it. 1/2 inches don't always make it into my pile. There are some sentiments that are skinny enough to do that, but not that many. You'll see all I'm doing is staggering it. I just don't want to have, and actually I'm also going to do, oops, I don't want it to be too even. I'm trying to mix it up. Oops, there we go. Let's see, let's do this. And then we'll really mix it up and do this. Whoa. Remember my trick for when you get too much glue? Find a scrap piece of paper and wipe it off. Not wipe it off. Let's see if you can see that. I left some of it on there. I just thinned it out so that there wouldn't be a glob. And we'll we'll go this way this time. And then, oh, I think I am going to use this piece over here, even if it's not a 1/2 inch, just because I want to, if not end up with that piece, then at least have another dark piece further down. And try not to line that up. I have to work at that. It's kind of hard for me. I don't mind asymmetrical things as long as they're symmetrically asymmetric. And that's just a personal thing. All right, we're gonna have 2 more pieces. We're gonna do, I do not, however, go around correcting pictures that are crooked on the wall. It's not that. It's just my eye likes the way certain things look. So we just go with it. That's why I try to give you options on here. And remember, these are just suggestions. They're just the beginning of look how you could start doing this and then go from there. Okay, now, before I lost all of the papers that came out of here, I should have had, well, we'll just take another piece. Here we go. So I need this is 1 3/4 circle. And then I did put, this is one of our new colors. It's Petunia Pop. And, oops, wrong one. Duh. There we go. Put that aside. I'm going to stamp. This one says, hope this is a feeling better kind of day. The sentiment that went on here, thinking of you, came from Hope You Know. Again, that's all on the project sheet. And this one comes from Comforting Thoughts. And we're going to use our darker pinky purple. It's a darker pinky purple. You know that kind. All right, and we're just going to put that. I'm going to put it a little bit of high center because I want to put a gem on the bottom. I'm going to show you an example where I did not do that. All right, this gets, and I tell people these are dye inks. They're water-based and they dry very quickly, which is one of the reasons why you can't emboss with them. However, some of them, due to the way the dye is made, you know, what colors are put into it, they stay wetter longer. My favorite red is Cherry Cobbler, and it's notorious for that. You have got to be careful. Just give it not even a minute, but don't try to press on it right away because it will definitely get you. As you can see, I'm winding down on my rhinestones. I'm trying to actually get rid of the rest of them. So I've been using them on everything. And I don't know if you've noticed my voice, but the allergies around here are crazy. So these were already colored. I must have used it for another thing, but it looks so nice. So I'm going to use them again. I don't feel bad. It's just allergies. And since we used up all of the other ones, we're going to go to a new sheet and put these on. And then I'm going to show you one example. This one is pretty girly, you know, unless your men like pink, which is fine too, but it's not the typical color for a guy. And it's kind of floral. So again, that's not typically a guy. Some guys like it, but I look at this and think girl. And so you can put this anywhere. You can put it down here. You can put it over here. You can put it anywhere. I think I'm going to put this one in the center. Yeah, because my other sample is even different from that. All right. So those are the two. Made them here. Different. Doesn't matter. But that looks like the number 9. And then I needed a Father's Day card. So using one of our new in colors, this is Shy Shamrock. I did the same technique. I only used the reverse side and the front side of this one color, Shy Shamrock, and made it into a Happy Father's Day. They look the same, but they look very different. So it really depends on what pattern of paper and the colors of the papers that you're using. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're enjoying the whole series. I'm going to do 10 and 11 next. And then I think I'm going to take a break from doing the card maps, mostly to get some feedback. So if you like this, please comment. Let me know. Yes, I like these. I want to save all the project sheets. So when I'm stuck, I know where to go for inspiration. Or tell me, you know, that's enough with the card maps already. I can see them in the catalog and I'll figure it out myself. Just let me know. I'd really greatly appreciate it if you do. And don't forget to subscribe. I post once a week on Wednesday and occasionally a flash sale when they have like free shipping. That's all for now. Thank you. Bye.